Max Verstappen's shot at a dream debut win at the Nurburgring 24 Hours fell apart when the number 3 Mercedes-AMG GT3 had to pit from the lead due to a driveshaft issue. His entry brought a huge spotlight to the endurance racing world, with everyone eager to see how the Formula One champion would handle his first real-life endurance race. Unfortunately, it ended in disappointment for Verstappen and his teammates. But how good was the F1 champ on his endurance racing debut? Let's break it down. Early on, the Verstappen Mercedes wasn't the fastest car on track. In the opening stint, the Lamborghini Huracan set the pace before Kevin Estre worked his way up in his Porsche 911, while the Verstappen Mercedes, driven by Daniel Juncadella, stayed near the podium positions. Things changed once Verstappen got behind the wheel. The four-time F1 world champion was clearly the fastest driver, pushing the Mercedes to its limit and fighting his way to the front by the end of his first double stint. From there, the team managed the race perfectly. Juncadella, Luca Stoltz, and Jules Gounon were incredibly consistent, and the team slowly took control. There were battles for the lead, especially with traffic and the Windward Racing Mercedes also in the mix, but Verstappen's teammates kept the car at the front, minutes ahead of third place. The real difference came when Verstappen was driving. He consistently built big gaps and clearly loved every second of lapping the Nordschleife. It looked like he and his team were cruising to victory. Then, disaster struck. With just under 3.5 hours left, Juncadella was forced to pit with a driveshaft issue, and the team eventually had to retire. A heartbreaking result given how well they'd run. But even before that, there were some nerve-wracking moments. As soon as Verstappen got in, he was lightning fast. No surprise there. But it was surprising to see him push so close to the limit so early, given how long the race is and how easy it is to make mistakes at the Nürburgring. The first error came soon into his stint. Coming over a left-hand crest, he turned in a bit early, the front of the car lifted, and he went onto the grass, grazing the barrier before quickly recovering. He made a similar mistake at the same spot the next lap but stayed off the grass, needing a big correction to keep going. That didn't slow him down, though. He stayed aggressive, even passing the number 47 Mercedes by putting 2 wheels on the grass, all in his first 2 hours of driving. Later, in the middle of the night, he was battling hard with the sister Windward Racing Mercedes for the lead. They were racing so hard that they made contact while weaving through traffic. Somehow, both cars avoided a crash, and Verstappen came out on top and built a gap. It showed that even in a totally different type of race, he wasn't about to change his approach. Sure, endurance racing often rewards patience, but that never crossed Verstappen's mind. His aggression helped him and his team take control, even when the track got greasy with drizzle. He was running lap times others couldn't match, a reminder of why he's so successful and arguably the best driver in the world. If Verstappen had won the Nürburgring 24 hours on his first try, you'd wonder if he'd even come back. But given how things ended, you have to think he'll want a quick return to erase that blemish on his racing resume. Losing what looked like a sure victory due to a reliability issue has to sting, and he won't want to go through his career without winning this race, especially since it was totally within reach. He probably won't need much convincing to try again next year, especially since he was clearly having a blast. The main hurdle is his F1 schedule. He put a huge amount of work into preparing for this year's race, but that was only realistic because some early F1 rounds were postponed due to the conflict in the Middle East. That would need to be sorted out before he could fully commit to another attempt. It also feels like this is all building towards something bigger, and you've got to believe a Le Mans 24 hours entry is coming sooner or later. Maybe not next year, but likely in the not-too-distant future. Ford's global racing director, Mark Rushbrook, told media at the Spa 6 Hours that conversations have happened with Verstappen about possibly racing for Ford's hypercar team once it's on the grid, but a 2027 entry isn't in the works right now. That makes sense. Verstappen wouldn't want to rush into Le Mans with a team making its debut, not knowing how competitive the car will be, especially since Ford hasn't even hit the track with its 2027 Challenger. Just look at how carefully he prepared for the Nürburgring. He'll want to be fully ready with a car that can genuinely fight for the overall win. Le Mans would be the natural next step after what he's done at the Nürburgring. But for now, none of that matters. He and his team will be figuring out what went wrong this year and how to fix it for next time. Either way, this was a hugely impressive debut at one of the toughest races motorsport has to offer.